Hello, Sway Solar Pros. Welcome to our first ever episode of the Charge Up. Kicking things off with us today, none other than one of my favorites, Mr. Brett Swenson. How are you today, Brett?
I'm doing good, Alex. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How you been?
I'm doing all right.
Good, man.
Can't complain.
There you go. Sometimes I say that's all we can do, but still it doesn't help us any not one bit to complain, right? But just want to pick your brain, get into a lot of the stuff that you do on a daily basis, how you've gotten to where you're at now. But how did you get into commission-based selling?
Well, I was working a normal 9 to 5. I was actually working 2 jobs just to stay afloat. And I went to my buddy's house, and his older brother just bought himself like a nice truck. His girlfriend just got a brand new Mercedes, and I know she doesn't work. And so I was like, dude, what are you doing for work? And he's like, oh, dude, I do door to door. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So he's like, we leave in 2 weeks for 6 months. So I put my 2 weeks in at In-N-Out, and I went out to a summer. Did pretty good. Pretty happy with it.
And you were at In-N-Out, so I've never worked at In-N-Out, but I know they pay pretty well, right? So you were in, I guess you could say, kind of a comfortable situation where, did it scare you initially? Like, man, I'm leaving something, maybe not a lot, but it's secure,
I think I didn't really know what the job entailed exactly. I just knew he was making money, and I want to make money. So whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. And In-N-Out, it was good. And I was going into like management, so it would have gotten better. But there's still just a cap with no matter like how much I work, whatever, I'm only going to get paid so much. And so when I realized that, I'm like, I'd rather go out if I work harder and get paid more. I can't necessarily do that In-N-Out or 9 to 5.
You can't work more hours. They close up shop, right?
Yeah, exactly. They close, and they only let me work about 8 hours a day.
Or they don't want to give you the overtime.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's right. Do you remember like the exact moment when you were like, I could never go back to 9 to 5?
Yeah, I would say that was probably like midway through my second summer. I was doing pretty good. I'd go out on the doors and probably knock for about an hour, and I would sell a deal, and then I would, go mess around, do other things. And I was like, man, I'm good enough at this job. I don't have to work 8 hours a day. I could work 1 and make more money than what I made in a whole week in that first hour. And so unfortunately, I wasn't the best rep with that. I was like a one and done. I was still doing 7 to 9 a week, which was pretty good. But when I realized that's when I was like, okay, I'm not going to go back to a 9 to 5 because there's no way I'm going to clock in and make $80 if I'm there all day.
You're going to be upset with the paychecks for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
After all the work you put in. That's right. How long have you been doing sales for now?
About 6 years.
Nice. How long were you in sales before, like as a rep, before you stepped into more of a leadership role?
Probably 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Just with like the management I was with, they didn't really seem to like incentivize you to recruit. And then if they did, or if you did recruit, you're making like $10 a deal that they sold. And to me, that wasn't worth it. I could have a better payday if I just work on myself the whole time, rather than if I was to put a lot of time into another rep, then I would have so much time to myself, and the payout wasn't good. And so when I was doing that job, I didn't recruit.
You didn't focus on...
Yeah, the recruiting pay wasn't all that great. So
when you started, did you initially have the goal, like, man, I want to figure this out so that I can become a leader? Or did you just kind of grow into it?
I think I kind of grew into it. I was kind of holding back. I wanted to make sure I could do this job at a high level before I would try to teach somebody else how to do it at a high level. Like, I want to make sure I could do it before I try to convince somebody else they could do it.
That's one thing that I talk about all the time with you guys is, first and foremost, when you come in as a rep, it's like you latch onto the opportunity because you want to change your life. And then however long it takes when you jump into that next role, it's because now you want to empower and help others change their situation, and
Pay it forward.
pay it forward type thing. Yeah, that's huge. Speaking of them, what are 3 pieces of advice that you would give a new rep that's joining us and watching us on the podcast? 3 pieces of advice you would give someone that has never sold anywhere before and is new to the Swave experience?
I would say just to be a sponge, soak everything in, ask a lot of questions, ask everybody every question, and just be a sponge. Take all the information in, all the golden nuggets, we like to say, and then just make it yourself.
Be coachable.
Yeah, be coachable.
Yeah.
Be a sponge.
Good time. That's important.
The second one, I would say to just be excited about the job. Like, be excited on every door. It's a fresh start, pretty much. Every door you go to, it's a fresh start. So be excited for it. I believe sales is a transfer of energy. So if your energy is bad, your sales are going to be bad. If you have good energy, it doesn't matter what you're selling. People are going to buy you. And so it's like if you go to McDonald's and you see the workers there, like, they're not happy, right? But you come here, everyone's happy. You go onto the doors and customers see that. They're going to be like, why is this dude happy? Like, he's out here working. Like, what's making him so happy? And so I think that will convey onto the customers that what you do is actually a good thing.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes when it comes to that is, a sale is the transfer of enthusiasm. I'm not sure if it was Winston Churchill that said that, but it is just the transfer of energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You feel so positive about this. It sparks up curiosity with the homeowner, and next thing you know, they're letting you in so that you can show them what you got, But what would be the third?
Third one is to keep like a level head, I guess. We call it a solar coaster because the pay is very good. But when you get a cancel or something like that, and then you lose out on a lot of pay. So there's a big difference. So if you're riding that roller coaster, you have really high highs, really low lows. That'll burn somebody out in this job. And so no matter what, you have a deal, sweet. You have an install, sweet. You have a cancel, sweet. Paycheck, cool. Just the more level you can keep your head, the longer you'll last at this job. And so don't let cancels hurt you. Best way to deal with cancels is to go sell another deal. And you can't do that if you're in your head about the last one.
Yeah, that's a great one. I wouldn't have thought of that as an advice to give someone new. But did you go through something? Like, was there a time where maybe you were more emotional, or is that where that's come? Tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, I'm an emotional guy, and so when I realized that my emotions were impacting my sales, my income, like I was the one that was being affected by it, not the customer. And so I'm not going to let the customer ruin the chance if I have that success over something that they did. Like, some will, some won't. So what? Just move on. Yeah. And so once I learned that, like, stop getting mad when they tell you no. Like, if there were no no's, if there were never any no's, you wouldn't have a job. Everybody would have everything and you wouldn't have nothing to sell. So appreciate the no's. And when you go to work is when the no's start. If they just said, yes, you're not working. Like, that's too easy,
I like that.
And so once I learned that, to keep my attitude, like, they're only affecting me, is when my sales, my production changed by probably double.
Wow. That's important, and that's a good one. Keep that in mind, guys. But just doing this type of work for so long, I always had the mindset, like, the no's don't pay me anything, so why should I pay them any mind? You know what I mean? Where it's like I don't get paid to think, but we're human. We're emotional beings, We get so caught up sometimes. We all hate rejection. I don't think I know anyone that's masochistic that's that way.
Definitely
where they love to be rejected, or disrespected. So, but when you have the goal in mind, the target in sight, because you visualize it, then you go into achieving it and just grind mode, where you're doing it. How long did it take you before you actually got to see success? So you saw your friend making money, great money, buying a lot of the dream cars maybe that we want to buy. How long before you actually now you're driving a Tesla and get the new Tesla? How long before you actually, how long did it take for it to actually pay off for you?
Like from seeing the Mercedes to my Tesla?
Yeah.
To
Not necessarily that, because, but just to see some success, to get some freedom, because you saw freedom right away, you came on board and you're like, man, I can make what I made in a week over there in an hour here. And time is money, but money buys freedom, so you say one and done.
Yeah.
That's a great marathon strategy, where you almost appreciate the job more, but you're also just operating at not such an excellent level. And I'm only bringing that up because it's crazy to hear you say you were one of those type of guys when, not to get everyone in your pockets, but last month you made $92,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. Like, man, that's insane. When Brett was just focused on himself, not too much pressure, he was making a few thousand a week, but now he's paying it forward. He's more engaged and helping these guys, prepping them up for success. And now he's making 92,000 last month.
Yep.
You
might have heard me saying maybe in the meetings or something, or like when we start talking, trash, when we're competitive, you could say.
When you're motivating the guys.
Yeah, I'll say a rising tide raises all ships, and so helping others is just going to make me better. And so if I'm focused on everything they have to do right, I have to focus on me doing right too. You lead by example.
Lead by example.
And
so there are ways to deal.
I like that a lot.
I love that. And it looks like we're fully charged now, but what's one piece of advice that you would give an existing rep that is maybe wanting to jump into a leadership role?
To jump into a leadership role, I would say just to do it. I mean, with anything, any fear you have, any doubt, like you're going to have that doubt until you start to do it or until you do it. And then you realize, hey, it's actually not all that bad. It's not that hard. It's not that crazy. So just, if you want to do it, just do it. Don't second guess yourself. To just start doing it. Recruit, teach one guy how to do it. Once that one guy knows how to do it, and you just rinse and repeat. And I feel like, build a team that way and start helping out.
Yeah, I always felt like empowering customers, making a sale, adding value to their life and their family life and whatever product we're selling. I always felt like that was rewarding for me as a sales rep. But what was even more rewarding for me is taking someone that had never done this type of job and empowering them with all the tools and knowledge and know-how on how to achieve like great levels of success, changing their money situation, seeing them speak more eloquently, more professional with their demeanor, little things like that, where it's like, man, that's where I get the biggest bang for my buck, for my time spent. So I love the fact that I think you're one of our best leaders for sure. And I love the way you treat customers and you go about the way you conduct business. So definitely the guys should pay attention to every word that comes out of your mouth, and then just plug and play, right? Just take what the people what they're saying, it's working. That's what I gotta say. That's what I gotta do.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Don't reinvent the wheel. I know we're fully charged up, but how do you charge up for work days, for blitz work trips? How do you charge up? Do you do any rituals, anything to prep to get in the right state of mind?
I'd say the biggest thing is what kind of changed also my production a lot. My state of mind, everything is just going to the gym.
Going to the gym.
Wake up early, go to the gym. It's not easy to wake up early. It's not easy to lift weights. It's not easy to exert yourself. But if you do that every day, you start off with a win, and you did something that you didn't want to do, and that's a win. And so you can't lose to the rest of the day if you start off winning, in my opinion. I already won. Did the hardest thing of my day is going to the gym, waking up.
Yeah, add look good, feel good, right? I noticed that immediately when we met you here at the charge station. I'm like, man, Brett, plus some weight, just look good, you know? And it's like, you look good, feel good, so you get an early win, you do something hard. Anything you do the rest of the day is easy peasy, you know?
Exactly.
I love it, man. Well, there you have it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode with Mr. Brett Swenson here, and we'll see you on the next one.